Alternator installation. In this video, we're going to show you how to replace a pad mount alternator in a heavy-duty truck. Before replacing the alternator, make sure you properly diagnose the entire charging system. The proper procedure to troubleshoot the cranking and charging system is in the video linked here. Warning: before starting any repairs, make sure you understand and follow your shop's or employer's safety procedures. Proper equipment such as safety glasses need to be worn while working with the charging system. Failure to follow safety procedures may result in serious and permanent injuries. Danger: the battery pack is directly connected to the alternator. Therefore, it is very important that you disconnect the vehicle's battery cables at the batteries before beginning any service to the charging system. Before removing any wire from the alternator, you should identify and tag it. After the cables are identified, you can remove them from the rear of the alternator. To remove the belt, you'll need to put a ratchet on the tensioner and pull up. This removes the tension on the belt, so it can be removed from the alternator pulley. Visually inspect the belt for cracking and wear. Replace the belt if it is worn beyond the manufacturer's specifications. Also, look for contamination on the belt and pulley. If contamination is present, you'll need to clean all the pulleys in the system. Now, the 4 bolts holding the alternator to the engine can be removed. Remove these mounting bolts and note the location of any bracket that may be held on by the bolt. After removing the bolts, the alternator can easily be removed from the engine. You'll need to remove the pulley and transfer it to the new alternator. The pulley shaft can be held in place by an 8mm hex while the 24mm nut is removed. Never stick anything into the fan while removing the pulley. Before putting the pulley on the new alternator, you'll need to remove the 24mm nut and sleeve from the pulley shaft. Do not remove the fan from the alternator. The sleeve is not needed and may be discarded. Install the pulley onto the new alternator. Tighten to 98 to 137 Newton meters. Be careful you don't over-torque the nut. Attach the alternator to the engine using the 4 mounting bolts. Make sure to reinstall any brackets that were attached to the alternator by the vehicle's OE. Torque these 4 bolts to the engine manufacturer's specification. After all 4 bolts are properly torqued, you can put the belt back on the pulley by pulling up on the tensioner. Before connecting the wires, you need to clean the connections to ensure low resistance. The cables must be attached to the same terminals that they were removed from. The battery positive and battery negative terminal are both mandatory. Tighten the positive battery connection to 7.8 to 10.8 Newton meters. Tighten the ground connection to 3.5 to 6.8 Newton meters. The remaining 3 terminals are optional and need to be connected if the vehicle's system uses them. The 3 optional terminals are S for the sensing wire, commonly referred to as remote sense, I for the indicator wire, sometimes identified as L, and R for the relay wire. Any combination of these 3 terminals may be connected without any need for jumpers. If the connection is not needed, simply leave the terminal alone. All 3 of these terminals should be torqued to 1.7 to 2.8 Newton meters. Do not connect the remote sense S wire to the R relay terminal. If dielectric grease or other corrosion-inhibiting product is applied to terminals, apply after tightening the terminals to the proper torque. After the cables are connected to the alternator, you can reconnect the vehicle's battery cables. The installation of your new alternator is now complete.